Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course brought to you by New Earth One Network. I'm Laurie Reyon, and this is a very special course on healing with dolphins. You can learn about the 12 strands of DNA and how you can calibrate with the dolphins. Laurie Reyon is an interspecies communicator, and she's here with us today as we learn about a beautiful 4-week course in healing with the dolphins. Today, we're getting a taste of that. And Laurie, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's just delightful to have an opportunity to speak and share on the incredible beauty and wisdom and healing capacities that the dolphins have for us. So, thank you.
What I love about this is that we don't have to be in the water or on the water or near them or on the beach. We can do this in the quantum field through the gateways of our hearts. Mm-hmm. And that right there is an indicator of what the dolphins are here to teach us. So we're going to give you the space here to go into more detail. But one of the most fascinating things is that the dolphins have told you that now it's time for us, humanity, to upgrade ourselves. Yes. So let's talk about that.
Yes. Well, until just a few years ago, I didn't know of the amazing, I'm going to call them super sentient abilities of the dolphins. I think we all know they're highly intelligent. And as an animal communicator, I knew that they were far more intelligent and carried a much higher vibration than humanity. But I was still just happy seeing them in the ocean as they came to my house and seeing them on the boats and so forth. But breaking through to communicate with them, they just picked up the ball in the sense of them knowing where I was in my understanding and intelligence about DNA, which was very little. And they started to explain to me that we have more than 2 strands of DNA. And if I was really wanting to be serious about being an energy medicine healer, I should have started to understand that and study what's out there about chromosomes and genes and what's being done even scientifically. And then they could take it to the next level. So they use what they call sonogenetics. That's the word they've given me to change the actual structure, the molecular structure of your DNA. So they have tones that they make in their physical body and also in their etheric bodies, which are, not visible to you in your 3D world, but they can come to you in that way. And through their tonality and through their abilities that they have that I really don't think we can have a real discussion about because we don't yet understand exactly how they do it. But we do know that they do it, okay? So they're able to change that, and it's based on your intention. They would never do anything without your soul's permission, so to speak, working with your I am presence, working with the part of you that's immortal. and deciding about how that can impact the human vehicle which you're living in, and of course where the sentience that we're talking from now comes from. So it's about merging those two worlds into helping the humans realize that we're so much more than we realize, and that we have this treasure chest of 12 strands of DNA. Now, lots of teachings out there understand that because that's been channeled by many, many people. So a few years ago, that was sort of rare knowledge. Now it's not, it's pretty common knowledge. But how they work with each strand individually and what the templates are has now become module 2 of my school. And it will continue to evolve and change into module 3 as we learn more about the genealogy and how they actually change the chromosomes. And this is due to the enzyme telomerase that some of you may or may not know, which is what allows the chromosomes to extend, and that gives us anti-aging. So they're able to shift that which we might call defective genes through using sound, their sound technology, and also color. I mean, when we see dolphins, they tell me they're working with all colors and spectrums of color, whether we can see it or not. So I sure do have a lot of pictures, though, of dolphins in the ocean, and there's rainbow light around them. Or when they expel through the blowhole, rainbow light comes out. So, more clues, right, about how they use color. But it's more, the school is functioning in my part in it is not so much in absolutely understanding the finest detail of how they work, because they are 30 million years into the future, in the sense that they have so much more experience. Even now, if I walked into a hospital and I walked into where someone's having heart surgery and the doctor's trying to explain what he's doing as he's doing, we wouldn't understand. It's years and years of knowledge and wisdom and experience. Take that times millions. And also the capacity of the brainstem and how their brain works. And they really work in what we call a holographic world, where everything they do is not just like this linear, straight across, I'm talking, you're listening. It's a holographic world where images appear. So this is how they communicate. If they're like just a simple thing, they're in the water and they're swimming and they're hungry, so they send out a pulse of energy, and it scans the water in front of them, and then they see the fish, and then the image of the fish comes back to them, so they know exactly which way to go to get the fish, what kind of fish it is, how big it is, what color it is. And so often when they communicate with me just on this simple modality of how they'd like me to illustrate something to a client about what they do, they send a holographic image. And I sometimes get that from my cat too. So again, the animals are more evolved. They're able to do that. And we're headed to that, right? Where one day we'll be able to send holographic images, and a lot less talking will be needed because people will easily see what we're trying to illustrate through language. So very much a part of
Yes.
our future.
You said some amazing things there. I want to go back to that holographic image that they send. There is very cool new research.
Donna,
Donna
Donna,
Kasowitz, her husband,
and Jack. Yeah.
yes. And they actually have worked with the cymatics of the dolphin, and when they take that sound, it makes the image that they are projecting. Isn't
Yes,
that fascinating?
it is. They're doing some amazing work. Yeah. Yeah. I was
Good.
down there. I was in Cancun last December with Cryon, and I was able to go to Dolphin Discovery and see some of the amazing research that both Jack is working scientifically and Don is working metaphysically with the dolphins, and it really was amazing. I don't know if I told you, I had a profound experience with one of their dolphins, unlike anything I've ever seen before,
Share that with
which I
us.
can share.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I need to share it with Donna too. It was the end of the day, and we'd been in various games, I guess you'd say, or processes with the physical dolphins. There was in this particular one uh, pool we were in was very large, and we all lined up against the wall, meaning the humans, and we were playing the emoji game. So they would throw out a plastic heart, and the dolphin would catch it and bring it back and touch your heart. And they would throw out one that was like a spiral. They throw it out. The dolphin would come back and twirl, and watch it to twirl. Another one, big plastic lips. We'd throw it out, and the dolphin would come back and want to kiss you. It was just a very, very simple way of showing that the dolphins were communicating with us and really enjoying it. So we played the game, and it was fun. And then it was the end of the day, so people were leaving. A lot of people had to go catch a plane, and so but I was just standing next to the trainer, and the dolphin. There was a symbol for hug, where they take their flippers and put them around your back like that, and really come in close and hug you. And the dolphin kept taking that from my hand and throwing it itself and then going to get it and then bring it back to me and hug me. I wanted to keep doing that over and over and over. And after like 10 times, I said to the trainer, is this normal? And she said, no, no, not at all. She said, so since you're a communicator, why don't you ask her why she's doing this? And the name she told me was Astara. That was her name. I don't remember if that was her real name on Earth, but we just did it. And I finally just let myself stand there and receive the hug, I mean, really receive it and not talk. And she showed me my living room with my flat screen TV, with chairs in the room and people sitting in the chairs looking. She showed me my dolphin school, basically, people coming to study dolphin modalities in Wales. And what she wanted me to see was that dolphins all over the world know about it. And she was supporting me. Isn't that amazing? I was just blown away. I was like, wow. Well, forget that we're all connected and there's a oneness to everything that we do, and who, of course, would pick up first on it would be these amazing beings that are dolphins and whales. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that they know what's going on with your teachings and your dolphin school.
Yeah, and supporting me.
And supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
Really very, very special. So you called it sonogenetics. They can change the molecular structure and the tones that they use to change our DNA. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
12 strands of DNA or individual strands, or what I can say is science can only see two. So our science would say, if I can't see it through a microscope or through a telescope, it's not there, right? I mean, that's basically how our science operates. Is if we have to be able to see it or it's not there. So science can only see two strands of DNA. The other strands are multidimensional. They're not visible from an instrument. So again, that most everything I do is invisible from an instrument. It operates on belief. But the dolphin will ask you, if you've worked with this for a series of sessions, you've done some core level healing, you're pretty centered in who you are, where you're going, and you just want more. You want to turn on more of what we call your gifts, because everyone has them, right? These are things like being able to see more clearly or hear more clearly, or even in your chosen profession, maybe you turn on a part of you that wants to be an engineer, or a part of you that wants to be an artist or a dancer. And that part is in your DNA because you did it in another life and you were really like a master at it. So there's a part of your soul that might say, okay, let's turn that on in this lifetime. And then the opposite end of the spectrum is there's things that you're having that are plaguing you, that are challenging you, that are creating resistance that would stop you from going forward to achieving mastery. They work with those things too, to help remove the blocks that are resistance. And they are the best emotional coaches. I tell you guys, I've been a spiritual coach for a long time. I think at least 10 years before I got really heavy into working with dolphins. More, I was working with the whales for clearing. But once we got into like layer 2, for example, they can work on that layer with you till the cows come home. And they're going to clear person by person, emotional experience by emotional experience. And I mean, they're going to clear it, not clear it a little bit. They're going to clear it until it's completely gone and sanded down. And you are really capable now of understanding the experience that has hurt you so much. It's such a more effective way. You're going to start to understand the creatorship part of it, where you helped co-create that and it helped you grow in some way. And you can forgive. I mean, they really can hold you while you forgive. It's just, and let go. It's incredibly beautiful. I just have, really pages of testimonials of just that, of people saying that one session with layer 2, where I really let go and I forgive my husband, my ex-husband, or I forgive my father. And they really have a whole different outlook afterwards, after that session. So don't exactly know how they do it, but I do know that it's an honor to be their voice while they're doing it. And just, I'm observing it, but I'm also participating because I'm their voice. That's amazing. It's well worth looking into.
So you mentioned layer 2, and for those who are unfamiliar with your school and with some of these deeper teachings, explain the layers.
Okay, well, there are 12 layers. Here, let me see if I can find something to share with you from our manual that they've written through me that will help you understand a little bit more about the layers of DNA.
And when you say layers, is that like strands, or?
Yeah, I guess it would be considered also strands. Yeah, good point. Yeah. So in the 12 layers of DNA, the summary is the first layer is considered the biological layer. And the second one is what we call the life lesson layer, which is where you store your emotional codes. The third one is considered an ascension and an activation layer. So when we work with layer 3, we see a lot of changes that are coming really fast. Someone that's on the cusp of breaking through, so to speak. So those 3 layers there are considered the grounding layers. And they're closest to your ability to understand DNA in what we call 3D existence. The subsequent layers become more multidimensional, and they're harder to comprehend outside of what we call the quantum state. They're all about creating a foundation for the understanding of the actual purpose and the power of your DNA. DNA is the engine within you. Think of it that way. It's reactive and it's creative, it's alive, it pushes and it pulls. And like other multidimensional energies in the universe, it's completely ascendant, it's aware of itself, and therefore assists you in finding the creator within you as a human. So that's a little bit of a summary statement. The other layers are working with what we call the angelic name. The Dolphins teach that there is such incredible power in just the spoken word. And if we understood that, we would be much more careful with our words, right? Because they go on and they go on and they go on. And when we name someone, your parents name you, or someone else in your family names you, or you name something, particularly something that's sacred or divine, what you call God, what you call Mother Earth, what you call your I am presence, those words are considered angelic, and they're stored in a particular 4 and 5 layers of your DNA. And when we go back and we study that or look at that, you can find this sacred part of you that's so empowering, so beautiful. It helps you see yourself in a completely different way, and it makes you very aware of how you speak, and taking care with the words that you create. Layer 6 is all about studying the soul, the connection to the higher self. And boy, that's powerful, to start to see yourself. What if you woke up every morning and really saw yourself as a being of sacredness, of divinity, and that you had the powers that you perceive God has? It's just that you haven't quite figured out how to use all of them yet, but you have them. They're in you. The Kuda, my partner, she calls that the avatar blueprint. So in order to understand that more, we would say there are 12 strands of DNA, as we're sort of discussing some of them. And within each strand of DNA or spiral of DNA are 12 substrands. So 12 times 12 is 144. And that's a sacred number, isn't it? So it's associated with becoming the avatar. So what basically the encodement is saying that within our DNA and every single human, you have the avatar blueprint. It's a matter of what you do with it and how you choose to activate it. Interesting, huh?
Yes. So the question would be, how do we activate this and work with this? The Dolphins are here to help us.
This would be a really good time to show the film clip.
Perfect.
With the message. It's called Dolphins and DNA. It's like you can see them actually working on us. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I think it'll help answer some of your questions.
Dolphins and DNA. The dolphins have shared with me that they are the designated keepers of the human DNA template system. They receive infusions of DNA activation through the Earth's ocean systems from Creator. It is their given task to process this information internally and calibrate the actual DNA that is perfect and right for each person. The dolphins also hold the energy of love and joy for the actual locations on the planet that are experiencing war and chaos. The dolphins work to create frequencies that are infused into these areas on the planet with templates of peace, harmony, and healing. The dolphin matrix supports DNA re-encodements for people and places throughout the energy code systems they use. The Dolphin family of light has created a template for the human DNA and uses it to monitor the overall template for the pure holographic possibility equation for humanity and Earth. If you choose to connect with the planetary dolphin family, you can receive these attunements directly from the dolphin group consciousness. The dolphins are the masters of DNA recalibration and are able to shift old energies very quickly with their healing frequencies. Also, they work in a frequency of joy and playfulness that is perfectly suited to the energy of ascension and the new earth. Beloved humans, please listen to your hearts as the energies accelerate during 2012 and beyond. Call upon the dolphin energies as they are the chosen emissaries of light. Their communications will be of valuable assistance in helping you to align with the crystalline grid system, your personal DNA upgrades, and the dolphin matrix systems that are assisting in creating the center for the new earth. Also know that the dolphin matrix of energy is assisting with the cleansing and balancing of the Earth's oceans. Currently, many scientific experts are saying that DNA plays a powerful role in newly discovered communications between dolphins and humans. One ongoing study at the Sirius Institute in Hawaii has revealed that dolphins and whales receive and transmit sound signals capable of affecting the genetic double helix. Using natural biotechnology, dolphins can actually heal humans swimming near them sonogenetically. 14 years of multidisciplinary study at the Sirius Institute has indicated that the expression of DNA, traditionally considered the blueprint of life, can be changed by the sound and electromagnetic fields generated by dolphins. New research shows that our DNA is activated by waves and particles of energized sound and light that literally switch genes on or off. Likewise, genetic inheritance is energetically transmitted bioacoustically and electromagnetically through special water molecules that form the electrogenetic matrix of DNA. These hydroelectric structures are shaped like pyramids, hexagons, and pentagons, and they direct the healing processes. This amazing phenomenon explains how remarkable healings have been reported by people in our boats near the dolphins and by swimmers following dolphin contact. The cetaceans have had complex language for millions of years, and they have the largest brains on the planet. Visitations by dolphins and whales have demonstrated a history of friendship and cooperation, and even partnership with humans. The dolphins and whales have shown us that they are the ancient and wise, supersentient beings on this planet. They are living examples for we humans, showing us how to live in peace and in harmony with our planet. We encourage you to connect with the dolphins and the whales each and every day, energetically, telepathically, and in the physical oceans whenever you can. The dolphins and whales are the living, ultimate expression of how we humans can begin to live in our hearts within the pod mind, which is demonstrated by living for the good of the many, not the one.
Isn't that fun? So beautiful.
Wow, that is worthy of going back and listening to again. The
Yeah.
frequencies of the dolphins, just listening to the underwater sounds there and the different tones. Wow, knowing now that that is literally changing our bodies. And this is what it's like in the healing sessions, in the time that people spend with you online. that's how another way that you bring in the vibration of the dolphins,
Yeah.
to see them in the
Yeah,
water
they're hugging me.
under, and the sounds.
They're really happy.
They're
That
really
particular
happy.
channel is so, I don't know how to explain it. It just came in just like that. There was no editing needed. It was coded and it was strong. And it came in 2008 when they told me specifically that they had received a big download, I guess you'd say, from Creator, possibilities, where they could interact with us differently. And it came in through the Red Sea, where at the time, well, there still is, a lot of war and chaos in that area. And it was seeded into the water and to people that, like myself, that communicate with dolphins. And it was given to every dolphin all over the world with this new encodement. So you're all receiving that now, if you haven't already received it, which allows you to access parts of your DNA that have really been dormant for a reason. We wake up just like you would tell the children. They would ask you something maybe about your computer when they're 3 years old, and they're not going to understand it. So you say, well, when you're a little older, I'll show you how the computer works. Dolphins, it's like that. They're showing us a little bit more about ourselves now, and a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And so that when you become activated and your gifts become part of your mastery, then you're not so confused, and you can actually effectively use them to help yourself and to help others. So that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing. Yes. Okay. So, my goodness, I love the part where they are cleansing and balancing the Earth's oceans.
Yes, their abilities are they're able to clear the water, to change the water molecules. We could go back to the teachings of the whales, which I know I've shared. Maybe some of you may remember when Dr. Emoto was alive in Japan and he was doing the water experiments, where they were saying loving words to the water, playing loving music to the water, and watching the water molecules change, and then photographing the crystalline structure of the water. It's a little bit like that. So when the whales sing, and dolphins are whales, they're toothed whales, the blood crystals in our body start to change. So imagine what happens to the saline water that's in the ocean. The crystals form into beautiful, sacred geometric shapes that are supportive of creation, probably closer to what the water looked like when it was first, pure, before we before we polluted it. So that's been scientifically proven. If you listen to whale sounds, the actual blood chemistry will change. It starts happening in about 15 seconds, right away. So I've always told people, if you play dolphin and whale sounds in your house, you're purifying your home, and watch your animals react. That's one of the first things that happens is over the years of me being on radio shows or speaking at different things, when I start playing whale and dolphin sounds, the animals rush into the room and they're like, yes, they really know that they're getting an upgrade, Yeah. And I've seen it help animals that have that have been abused, basically. Like a really angry horse was healed overnight by listening to whale sounds in my world. Just needed that upgrade, the love that comes through those sounds.
You were sharing the story of the dolphin at the Kasowitz place,
Yeah.
and that's because that dolphin just could feel your joy and your connection. And again, that's where it goes quantum. I really love that.
Yeah, and scanned my
So,
body and saw what I do and everything.
wow.
So even our 3D captain, who's this wonderful Christian man here in Dana Point where we live. That's why I live here, is because we have so many dolphins. Actually, we have more dolphins here where I live than anywhere else in the world. So come visit us. Anyway, he has a boat with glass viewing pods, and he says, the dolphins can use their, I call it sonogenetic ability, sonar, basically, to scan you, and they can see if you have, a metal plate in your body, if you're pregnant. They can see what you had for lunch.
When you're on the boat, you said?
The dolphins scan you when they come to the boat, and they know everything about you. And
Wow.
this is a physical connection we're talking about. But imagine what they can do in the etheric realms, which is accessing your Akashic records, all of your lives. They can find out. Of course, they always encourage us to, in our healing sessions that we do, to speak directly to them, to say, these are my intentions, these are my prayers, because they like making that personal connection with you. But whether you did that or not, they still know. So it's part of, though, one of the greatest, I think, universal teachings is, if there is no permission, it shouldn't be done. I mean, even though they have the ability to heal you, if you don't give them permission, they shouldn't be messing with you, because you have chosen the challenge or whatever experience, the vibration you're having. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
So just examples. I was working with a lady this week, and she seemed so tuned in and turned on, and she knew so much. And again, we're on the phone together, and I bring in the dolphin in whale sounds, and then I look at the letter she wrote me, and it's so, oh, I have all these problems, all these challenges. But when I'm talking to her, she's so enlightened, right? So I said, what's the difference between the letter and the words you're telling me? And she said, oh, I guess I'm not being really honest, am I? And I said, well, none of this is for me. It's just for you. So I'm not going to go out and tell people you're doing something wrong or bad. I just want to help. How do I make this bridge for you? And she said, oh, yeah, I guess we should tell the dolphins that I smoke, huh? And I probably drink too much and, I have a negative attitude on a day-to-day basis. And I said, you probably should. Yeah. And right away, the dolphin came around and said, ask her why she smokes. Why does she hurt her body? There's a reason for that. I could help her bring that reason to the surface so she could look at it differently. So I thought that was very wise.
Mhm.
It's not that they're going to criticize you. They're just going to help you take a look at why you may have harmed yourself. And do you want to continue to harm yourself, or do you want help to change? Again, all free will, all permission. Does that make sense?
It
So
absolutely does. Yes. And so you in your teachings and your school work with people, and you create beautiful spaces for people to receive these healings, to
yes,
open and receive these attunements. So when we get together in 4 sessions, this is an online course, but people, because of the beauty of video, they can join in even afterwards to the replay if they can't be there
yeah.
in that quantum time of now. So talk a little bit about what goes on in these 4 sessions.
Well, the first part is expressing some wisdom about how the dolphins have shown who they really are to us. Okay, so a little bit of what we've done. We've tapped into a little bit now of the dolphins as master teachers, master healers, teachers even from the stars that have been here for millions of years. Their brain is completely more evolved. I mean, it doesn't mean they're better than us. It just means they're much more evolved. And if you're going to go, this is my partner talking now. If you're going to go to the doctor, wouldn't you want to go to the one with the most experience? Yeah, the one that had the better capability to help you, that had long lists of testimonials. So that would be the dolphin. So we learn about their wisdom, and we listen to their channels like we just did. We move into states of joy, even if in your regular life, your 3D life, you're experiencing pain and challenge. We lift ourselves up through various modalities and songs and videos, so that when they meet you one-on-one for a particular process that would be done that day, you're in a completely different vibration to receive their energy than you would be if you did it alone, or if you just wondered, am I good enough, or how will this ever happen? The analytical mind must surrender in order for true, I'm going to say, sustainable healing to occur. And most people need some help with that, to come really into the core of the heart and really see themselves as the dolphins see you, as this beautiful soul that's come to the earth that needs a little help. That's all. Yeah. And so again, we go through the strands. In the 4-week course, we'll tap into 4, because we can do that in 4 weeks, which is a lot. We encourage you to do the work at home and to bring them into your lives in every possible way, to see and feel and experience them, both physically, in the sense of by watching, videos to bring in that energy, and by going deeper into the actual, I'm going to say, the science behind what DNA is, so that you can start to understand how the enzymes work, and you can visualize the telomeres in your DNA, the strands extending. Bruce Lipton explains it. I like it. He says they're like shoelaces with the little plastic things on the end. And when the little plastic things wear off and the shoelace starts to fray, aging occurs and the telomeres don't extend anymore. So we want to make sure we keep those little plastic things on the tips of the shoelaces, which is your DNA, so that they continue to extend. And you can live a very long life. When you look at dolphins, they don't really look old, do they? I mean, you could look at a dolphin that's like 60 years old. That's really old. And they don't look old. Their skin isn't wrinkly, and they don't act old. They still can swim really fast. They would like to pass that on to us, that whatever age you choose to be, you'll still have your full capacities. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yes, what an awesome time. And people love your courses, Laurie. They are very popular, and it's this connection to joy and
Yeah,
expanding the
I
gifts,
think so.
really.
I wouldn't do anything if it wasn't fun. That's sort of
Yeah,
my motto.
right. And
It's
you're
not
very
fun.
heart-based. Yeah, heart-based, heart-centered.
It isn't fun. I don't think I'm going to show up. Sorry, I got other fun stuff to do. Right?
I love it because of the energy of each space that you create brings in the energy of the dolphins and makes that attunement and feeling so good and raises the vibration.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's their
So
job. They're the ambassadors of joy. Think of that. Like their whole life is about joy. Let's go there, you know?
let's go there. And I mean, anybody who's been in a dolphin boat and just sees them even on shore, everyone's so elated and excited. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's really good. So I know you're going to show another video.
Yeah,
Before you get there, can you talk about the crystalline grid?
sure. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the grid systems of the Earth, they're within the Earth and they're above the Earth. And then there's also the electromagnetic grid, which we'll probably not talk too much about since it's dematerializing. But the crystalline grid is the consciousness grid. Everything that's happening through human sentience, well, not just human, animal too, that's happening through our consciousness is reflected into the grid. And if you look at pictures of it, it has there's triangles within triangles within triangles, and it's about I'm going to ask Puda to help. It's 60 miles outside of the surface of the Earth. And the whales, specifically the humpback whales, are the keepers of the grid. They're always adjusting it and swimming just outside of it. It's their job. And the dolphins have something to do with it, but the whales particularly take on this task because they're the Akashic librarians. And so you can imagine, what is the Akash if you don't know? It's the recorded journey of your soul over every lifetime. So to access your Akashic records is to go back and look at something in a particular lifetime or this lifetime that you want to see or view or remember for a specific purpose. And it's like looking into your own archives. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of things you've probably done if you're an adult in this life that you've forgotten about that are probably quite, important things for you to remember that would help bring forth now if you take a look at that. Oh, look at the time I did that. Oh my God, look, I was pretty good at that then there. I could probably do that again. You start to have a whole different view about something that you've forgotten about and bring forth that mastery. Other things there'll be like a little click, especially when the dolphins are working on a particular part of you. And then you're going to start to have thought forms around that. Like, I could probably do that. I'm going to start to draw a picture. And then you look at, wow, I'm pretty good. I wasn't that good before, and you're bringing in this artistic thing. One of the things I can say for me, well, actually, two things I can say for me that are completely different about me since I started working with dolphins is I used to have severe seasickness. And for well into my 20s, I couldn't go on a boat. And I knew my calling was to be out there. In fact, even my other friends that were more advanced than I was, my teacher said, you need to get out on that boat. That's your mission. I'm like, that's just fine, but I throw up. I can't do it. I've tried. I think my very first boat trip, I went from Los Angeles with my boyfriend to Catalina Island, and I threw up so violently that I burst my eye, the eyeball, so it was bleeding. And I was laying on the grass. They called the paramedics. I was like, I wasn't just a little seasick. We're talking a lot seasick. And also plane sick, the back seat of the car sick, motion sickness, I guess you call it. So when it was evident that I was going to be a channel for dolphins and whales and also for Pleiadians and, other higher benevolent beings, I was working with Grandma Chandra. Some of you may know her. And she said, when are you going to get out on the boat? That's the real thing. You got to get out there and receive the messages of the whales and take people to them. And I'm like, well, I can't because I get seasick. And she goes, wah, wah, wah. When are you going to heal it? So I said, do you think I can? And she said, you can heal anything. And I'm like, it was so violent that I didn't even think that I could. So there was my block, right? That I couldn't do it. And she said, here's the deal. I'm going home. But when I come back in about a month, you better have healed that. And we'll go out on the boat together. And if you throw up, then I'll do the messages. I'll be your backup plan. But I know you can do it. I know you can heal it. So, wow, talk about being put on the spot. So at the time I had a healing center and I was living with other people who were studying like matrix and, different. Anyway, everybody worked on me. I worked on me, and it was intention that did it. I just wanted to heal it so bad. And so when we went on that boat trip that she came back, we did it. I didn't throw up. I was scared. I'm going to deny that. I was scared. I was dripping sweat. My face was bright red, but I did it. And I proved to myself I could do it. And so for the most part, I'm going to say 98% of the time, I don't experience seasickness. Still, once in a while, I'll step over to the edge and, dump my lunch or whatever, but it's not violent. And it's never painful or it's never, it's just completely different. And it's very, very seldom. So I'd like to just say that if I could do that, you could too. And I know part of it was my cats helping me, part of it was the dolphins and whales, but it's really intention. And the other thing is I used to have a severe fear of public speaking. Now look at me, I can't shut up. And so that was something that was in my mastery folder, I guess you'd say, that the dolphins and whales helped me bring forth probably about 20 years ago. And I ended up being a mobile DJ. I did weddings and, you have to do a lot of speaking as a DJ. It prepared me to become a teacher outside of dance, which is what I originally did. So I have a lot to thank them for. And I could go on and on about myself, but I mean, what I'm saying is I'm not just saying this for other people. It's happened for me too. It's real.
So let's have you share another video.
Okay. And I want to say, I'm going to show a little bit of the Atlantic spotted dolphins that are in Bimini. And people say, where's Bimini? Bimini's off the coast of Florida, Fort Lauderdale area, about 60 miles. It's in the Caribbean. And the Atlantic spotted dolphins are named by people all over the world as the friendliest dolphins in the world because they're they're free and wild, but they love people. They love you so much that they come up to you and rub on you and talk to you. And of course, they're healing you all the time. And they're giving us information. And whether you believe it or not, too, I know that they carry a huge responsibility for the healing of a long time ago, what we would call Atlantis. They carry, because they're swimming in that very area where, like one of the places we go when we go to Bimini is, it's called the Bimini Road, but it's remnants of Atlantis. You can see the road, you can see the ancientness, just under the water. And still lots of things are found there, coins, and, all kinds of things. So anyway, the history of our Earth is being repaired where the tears are, in, I guess you'd say, in the different structures of the Earth, the surface of the Earth and in the grid, in the ethers. And these dolphins carry a huge responsibility. They're not just happy, happy, joy, joy dolphins. They are, but they're doing a lot of really important work. So keep that in mind when you look at them. Okay. There's a lot more footage, but you get the idea of how incredibly beautiful they are. And there's nothing like swimming in body temperature water, with dolphins, where you don't get cold. You can just be in for a really long time, and they just love us. One of the things we like to do in Bimini is the captain will put ropes behind the boat when the conditions are right, and we'll hold on to the ropes, and there's knots, so your hands don't slide. You can hold on easily in your snorkel gear, and he pulls us, lined up in a couple of different ropes in our retreat, and the dolphins will come roaring up, and they get like this happened to me more than once, and they get in really close, and I'm counting like 1, 2, 3, like 12 dolphins I'm in a tube of dolphins, and they're all around me everywhere, and they're smiling and they're laughing and they're hitting me with their nose and going, "This is so much fun," Incredible experience, stuff you're never going to have anywhere else. Just wow. So
Wow.
yeah.
Gosh, we are just feeling that swimming with the dolphins, that desire, and you do trips all across the world. And so those will be back. Those will be back
They
someday
will. They
soon.
will.
And I know we're really excited. And before that, though, you again just create these beautiful experiences with the dolphins. Sitting there and watching the spotted dolphins, I was just there and totally lost in the space and the love and the softness and the joy, the happiness from their eyes. The eyes look different than other dolphins. Did you notice that?
Yeah. That something about their ancientness comes through the joy.
And the smile on their face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So beautiful. All right.
We love them.
So, Laurie, we are excited for those who really want to get closer to this energy work. This is energy light medicine
Yes.
with the dolphins. And it's a total of 8 hours, and it's a beautiful experience. How can people best work with bringing their intentions for what they want to achieve in this time with the dolphin healing sessions? Also,
Well,
calibrate.
if you're attracted to it, we always say to follow your heart. I mean, I realize there's people out there that, are not connecting to dolphins, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are connecting, they're calling you, like they've called me. I would honor that. I would say this is a good course for me, and I would journal, some of my intentions. I'd take a good look at the things that I'd like to bring forth in my life, and also a list of things that I'd like to let go of that maybe you're having a challenge letting go. Maybe, I know when I was working more in the 3D world, and I'm not saying it was bad, I'm just saying it wasn't my perfect cup of tea, right? And I would have thought forms when I was going to work because I should find a different job. This is not the one for me. It was okay, but this isn't my real self. But, I'm going to say years went by, probably at least 5, where I had those thought forms, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't do anything to change it. So this is a catalytic energy, is what I want to say. It's inspired. Um, uh, it's focused energy that they'll give you and work with you to make simple but also profound changes in your life. And I think we also know that just even one simple change right now in the energy, because it's so accelerated, will lead to more. It's like you meet one new person, then all of a sudden you've met 3, and then you've met 6, and you have a whole group of new friends. Dolphins are like that. They become your best friends in a sense, and they know all about you. They want to help you. And you can revisit their energy simply by just calling them in etherically. You have to remember, we're all quantum. We're all multidimensional. We exist in many places at the same time. And if that's something that you don't want to talk about, that's okay. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. And the dolphins do want to talk about it. They do want to expand your horizon, so to speak, and expand your consciousness so that you become more of who you really are. It's not saying that you're not enough. We're saying there's more. Do you want more? And these are the coaches to do it with. We'll definitely be working with layer 2 again, which is the emotional body, and what we call the lessons of love. There are many lessons of love, right? All different ways to love each other, ourselves, and they really help you with what I call self-love. If you don't have self-love, you don't really take good care of yourself, then you're not going to create something sustainable in this planet. And you're going to go, and I had a near-death experience, you're going to go home and you're going to have that near-death experience review, and you're going to see that there was so much more you wanted to do that you didn't do. I don't want that for you or for anyone. I want the next time I have a near-death review, I want to have all the things, or even, the permanent one when I go home. I want to have achieved what I came here to do originally. I want to fulfill my contracts. So there's nobody better to help you than that, because they see all of them. They see into your Akash, and they're just full of joy. So to partner with them is a good thing. It's a blessed thing, really is. So think about that.
Beautiful. If you are feeling the call of your heart to expand and step into your mission with the help of the Dolphins, then we invite you to join Laurie for these 4 sessions that are so beautiful. Calibrating your DNA and stepping forward into your role, into your mission, and why we came here. We are being assisted by the Dolphins in this time of great acceleration. Laurie, thank you so much. Do you want to add anything?
I just want to encourage people to follow their hearts. Even if you never see a dolphin in the ocean, I hope you do, but if you never do, this is still the most profound and incredible way to meet these celestial beings that are here on the planet. They have come to help, and we don't want you to be limited in your thought forms about who and what and where can help you. We want you to open your horizons. I have so many people that have taken this work too, and they end up calling them angels. It's up to you in how you choose to open your heart to accept the help that's here for you. And there's nothing more important, I think, than clearing the resistance and the emotional blocks that we have, because everybody has them, so that you can go wake up every morning without that backpack on, without feeling weighed down, or without walking around thinking, well, I wish I could forgive so-and-so. I still have all that anger inside of me. Why did that person hurt me? All of that, you start to understand your co-creative contracts and who you really are in a different way. And it's a different way where you can release all of that pain and hardship. And sometimes the people maybe that have been your worst enemies can even become friends sometimes, because you start to realize that what you created together was a destiny point, that you both chose to do that. And there was a greater cause for that. There's nobody better to be with you in a coaching situation or supportive situation than a dolphin. They literally are us in the future. That's one of the things I think I want to say. They're quantum cousins, and they really are capable of, well, more than I can even describe to you. I'm just continually surprised and amazed at their. I don't think there's anybody on the planet that's happier. And what better coach to have than someone that's so full of love and happiness and joy? Makes me laugh. And they live in transparency. That's part of what the new Earth will look like when we arrive. We won't have anything to hide, nothing underneath the skin there. We'll all just be filled with the joy of the moment, and we won't feel like there's something that's, like this. We won't be like that. The dolphins are the leaders in that, to show us how to live in transparency.
And we're starting to see how, yes, so we can see like the dolphins someday and read into people, and not in an invasive way, but to be able to do what they do. Yes. What a great acceleration for humanity. Beautiful.
Who wants to say something? She's a water cat. She loves dolphins. She's grown up with dolphins, and she's been swimming since she was really little. So she's pretty fun. But she says the course that we've co-created, the 4-week course, is focused on receiving. You should know that. I have a school, Dolphin and Well Energy Medicine School, Module 1, Module 2, and I'm going to be forming Module 3, which is all about becoming a facilitator and accessing your healing abilities in coordination with the dolphins and whales to help others. This is different. This is about receiving. This is like nurturing you course. Okay, you're not expected to remember all this and go out and help others. It's all about you, and that's really sweet. That's really special. It's really sweet. Okay, I want to say that.
Thank you. A deep nurturing session. Yes.
Yeah.
So the link to register is here on this webpage, and we invite you to do so as you follow the call of your heart. Thank you. Laurie, I just want to say, did you say that Puda, your cat, was swimming since being a kitten?
Mm-hmm. She jumped in the pool when she was 8 weeks old and started boom, 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 paddling around. She did it when I wasn't there either, which scared me heck out of me when I found her.
Well, now that is a past life of being in the water as a dolphin.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hi, Puda.
She's been to Hawaii, I think 8 times, and she's been to Bimini, to the Bahamas, to see the dolphins, Mm-hmm.
Hawaii 8 times, Bimini, traveling cat,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mexico, yeah, she's and everywhere we go, she's like water. There's water. Yeah. In fact, when we were in Bimini, we just had a spray bottle. We just kept her wet all the time because it's hot. So she was happy.
That's an evolved cat.
Yeah,
Yes.
like being wet. Don't you, when you were a kid running around in your swimsuit, didn't you want to be wet all the time in the summer?
Oh, yes, on the
Yeah,
slip
she's
and
like that.
slide.
She's like, spray me, spray me.
Yes. Laurie Reyon, thank you so much for this beautiful course. We are feeling elated.
And I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see you there, huh?
See you there. All right. Thank you.